Welcome to Just Saying, a podcast produced by and recorded at Tri-State Worship Center. Now here are your hosts, Holly Schneider and Pastor Terry Wagner.
Welcome back to Just Saying.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
After about 9 months.
Yeah, I think it's been since October of last year.
It's amazing how you know that.
I am a plethora of information.
It took a while,
It's
but here
all
we
right.
are
Yeah.
on season 7.
Seven.
This is
Episode
season
1.
7, episode 1.
Season 7.
I'm Holly. I am the producer,
Hi, Holly.
and I've been really working hard to get these gentlemen together, and they're very, very busy.
We are.
We
Yes.
have our sound magician, Tyler Staten. Say hi to the people.
Hi to the people.
Hey, people.
And then Pastor Terry, a.k.a. my padre, who is
I don't like the Padres. I'm a Cubs fan. I'm wearing the shirt.
I said my padre.
Oh, all right.
My pops.
Hi, everyone. Good to have you back with us. Good for us to be here finally after getting all of the schedules worked out. It's been
Yes.
rough, but we're here, and
Yes.
it's good. I just love the camaraderie in the room. It's just awesome. It's
I
great.
can't even spell camaraderie, but
Well,
I agree.
But I are one.
R1. So tell us what's been going on. We're just going to get caught up a little bit, talk about some things.
Well, me and my wife are no longer homeless.
That is a plus.
As of the last time we were recording, we
Yes.
were living in an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
And I think you threw an extra letter in there. And a motel and a rental property.
Yeah.
And all of our stuff was in 6 storage units, which just
Yep.
happens to be the quickest growing industry in America.
Really? I'm not surprised.
And we finally have them all emptied, and we're living at the house.
So I have to. Were all storage units in the same place?
Yes.
Yeah.
Were they side by side, like boom, boom, boom,
No.
boom, or were they kind of spread out?
No, not one of them was side by side. They were all spread out because the more we kept moving, the more we realized we need more room.
Did you have to draw a map so that you remembered how?
No, but I did put in my phone. I'll put a shameless plug in here for Morrison Storage on
yeah.
County Road 1 in South Point.
B-Town?
And I have to put in my phone unit, 72, 66, 42, and just get all
Don't
6
write
of
those
them.
down because they're empty now.
Yeah, yeah. So
Well,
if you need a storage
No,
building-
they're not empty now. One of them got taken by Mike Stevens, our clerk here
Well,
at
now
the church.
people are going to go try and steal his storage.
Well, they don't know which one it is. Plus,
They don't know that it's number 32.
Yeah, they don't know that.
Whoops.
Plus,
Sorry,
if they step on that tripwire, they're going to get shot. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
They're going to get a dart in the neck that makes them fall asleep.
But yeah, we got moved out, got all of our stuff at the house now, and we're living in our home,
Yes.
and it's awesome. And
Yes.
we you can put in a little applause there, magician. We weathered it. I don't know, seriously, I don't know very many couples that could go through what we went through and still be together.
Here is
a tough one.
Yeah, here's what's crazy about it. Because everybody that I tell that my parents at the ripe old age of retirement,
Ripe young age.
ripe old age of retirement, decided to sell the house that they've lived in for the past,
18 years.
18 years. And not like, it started off with like, we want to just
Downsize.
yes, we want to downsize.
that
we
was
want
the whole plan.
A one-level home,
Yep.
so your dad doesn't have to shovel the driveway.
Yep.
And we don't have to go upstairs,
Yep.
and all of this stuff. And it's going to take us 6 months, and that turned into 2 years.
Yep.
And what
Can't do that, man.
what was meant to be a back porch turned into a living room, and like
It's a kitchen and a dining room.
yeah. So now it's huge.
It's a great room.
It is a beautiful home,
It is.
but it is larger than we anticipated by a lot. And we were supposed to get rid of stuff. And so those of you that know my wife and are on Facebook, she's posted a lot of things on there, but we
Yes.
ain't got rid of nothing.
Nobody wants to buy
Nobody's
it.
buying it.
And then don't tell her I said this, okay?
I would say she'll hear it, but she probably
She'll
won't
give,
listen.
yeah.
She probably doesn't listen.
Hurts. She would say, okay, no, I haven't gotten any calls on that, so take that to Goodwill. I usually take it to the dumpster. It's about as far as I get. Throw it away. We don't need it.
Take a marker and write Goodwill on the side. I named it Goodwill.
I named it Goodwill and I threw it in the dumpster. I'll
Here-
probably get some blowback on that now that, you
Yeah.
know.
She probably does listen, but she knows to fast forward to the first 10
Right,
minutes.
yeah. She knows it's just going to be banter back and forth. I'm not listening to that.
What's funny is, so she posted this like one of those like multi pots that you can like sear and you can slow cook and you can steam in it. Does all these different things. And so she posted on Marketplace, and so I sent her a message, and I figured my name would pop up, but I don't think she was paying attention, and I was like, "Is this still available?" And she's like, "Yeah, interested?" And I said,
I can meet you at Wallace Family Funeral Home to get
I
it.
said, I am. Would you accept $0? And then she responds with $0 question mark. And I was like, yeah, family discount.
And then she looked at the name probably.
Yes,
after
then
all
she
that.
looked at the name and she's like, I'm trying to make some money. And
We
then,
got a big old house we got to pay for.
and then she ended the conversation. And then 3 weeks later, guess who ends up with the pot because she never sold it?
You.
Did you get it?
Yes.
Yeah, you.
I
Yeah, you.
cooked in it yesterday.
Thank you so much for taking stuff from our house. Anyway, we're living in the house and it's all good. Tyler, what's going on in your world, man? You guys got a lot going on
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
Store change.
Yeah. My wife, Amanda, her shop is.
Go ahead, say it.
Well, we've rebranded.
There you go.
It was formerly Peaches and Queens. Now it's Sorry Charlie's. And it's in the Ashland Town Center. And we moved to a larger storefront. And so that has been a task, but a good task, but a little bit tiresome. But yeah.
Well, but fortunately, you do get a little extra time in the summer.
He's been
Not
working.
really. No, I
No?
take.
Okay, well, forget that I said that.
I've taken.
been working.
I've taken 7 vacation days this summer and have not gone on vacation one of them. I have
Oh,
gone to
come
work
on.
extra.
Working for your wife, that's a vacation, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Sure. You get those brownie points. But yeah, I've taken some time to work over there and help her. But no, I've been working this summer.
Well, give us the name one more time.
Sorry, Charlie.
Sorry, Charlie's in the
It's
Ashland Town Center.
It's
Mall.
a boutique. She primarily sells women's clothes, but she does custom tees and school spirit wear and things like that. And now she's going to start carrying some men's brands too, and boys, little boys brands.
And she
So,
does custom work, right?
She's
yes.
still doing the hat bar.
Yes, she has a custom hat bar. We've got some patches in there that you can create your own trucker hat. Seems to be a fad that's going on right now. So
Yeah.
she's got that available. We also sell candy in there, freeze-dried candy. I think we're going to name it Cash's Candy Stash.
Oh, I like it.
Tyler's boy's name is Cash.
Yes. And my stepdaughter's name is Charlie. So we
There
got
you go.
Sorry Charlie's and Cash's Candy Stash. So
But
like it.
but they're not paying the bills on anything. You
they're
guys
not
are paying the
they're
bills.
not even helping.
Crazy.
Well, Cash helps a little bit.
tests
Charlie's there for moral support.
She's go, go, go.
You guys are doing great. Keep up the good
Keep
work.
up the good work. Keep my name good up there. What's going on in your world, Holly?
Nothing.
Okay, well, let's move on then.
Absolutely
I
nothing.
don't believe that.
Oh no, really nothing. I don't have. I mean, Isaiah started football.
Now, remind the folks who Isaiah
My
is.
son, who's 7, who is now going to be playing center
Mm.
for the South Point
Pointers.
C team,
C-team.
and he is a
Popped my pee there too hard there. Sorry. For the South Point Pointers. Pointers.
Pointers. You gotta look away when you say pointers.
yeah, he will be going in 2nd grade, but we haven't done anything this summer exciting. I've worked. Ryan has been MIA all summer. He went to camp meeting, church camp, general assembly, and I think that was it.
He's 2nd grade and on C-team?
Yeah. So so we're in a new league. We're in that back in the West
Tri-State
Virginia
Youth
League.
Football
Yeah.
League, yeah.
So D team is 5 to 6, C team is 7 to 8,
I feel like they've changed it since
B team
Because when I was
9, 10,
when
and
I
then
was
11,
younger,
12.
we were in the Tri-State Youth Football League, and I remember being in 4th grade, and we were on C team.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, wait, what?
So he'll be.
Still bitter about that, Tyler? You want-
No, actually, C team was. I'll have to let Isaiah know that we won the turf ball when I was on C team. We won it 2 years in a row. C
Was
team
Caleb
and B
Copley
team.
on your team?
He sure was.
Throwing down the
He's the
gauntlet.
coach. He's
There
our
you go.
coach.
And his dad, Paul Copley,
Coached.
was one of the coaches as well. Him and Tim Hunt were our coaches.
That's cool. He so Isaiah, when we were in the other league last year, technically he was on C team. So he'll be on C team for 3 years in a row.
Oh, okay.
Because last year at 6, that was C team because they had flag. They didn't have D. So he'll have his 6, 7, and 8 years on C team. So
It had nothing to do with the $100 bill that you slid.
no.
Okay.
But I'll never forget last year when we went and signed him up. His coach was like, "He's 6." And we're like, "Yeah, he's 6." And he was like, "When's his birthday?" We're like, "October." He's like, "That's a good football birthday." So he's a big boy and he loves it. But other than that, I mean, I've literally done nothing exciting this summer. I've just worked.
Well, you've worked and things here at the church with the youth group.
Yeah.
And
We started a worship team
Yeah.
back up again for
they're
the
really
kids.
awesome. They're really good.
It was a lot of fun. Now I've got to hone on some musicians.
Are we allowed to use names?
Yeah, I don't care.
Sabrina said that that's the first time she's ever heard Lucy sing.
Oh yeah,
Really?
And
Yeah.
Lucy,
That's her
she
daughter.
killed it.
She did really
killed
good.
it.
Sean was the first time he heard her was during practice. We got done with practice the first time we all practiced together because I practiced with just the singers, and he came off there and I was like, "Well," he goes, "I almost cried." I was like, "Yeah."
Almost. But he didn't.
It's hard to cry when you're playing drums. You can't wipe your eyes.
Well, that's my job. I'm the eye wiper.
The official tear wiper.
What's crazy is, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I hope not, it all started as a joke with Lucy. Sean's like, because I was asking the kids, anybody want to sing, anybody want to sing? And I got a few here and there. And Sean's like, I've been telling Lucy and joking around with her, like, you got to get up there and sing. And so he was like, you should ask her. Like, it was all just in fun and in jest. And so I was like, hey, you want to sing on the worship team? She's like, yeah. I was like, all right. And then she gets up there and she's got a beautiful voice.
Well, and people, it's really hard. Foul on me now.
Podcast foul.
People,
Hands in your pockets, guys. Hands in your pockets.
people need to understand that Lucy's like the wallflower,
Yeah.
right? I mean, she's a fly on the wall. She doesn't talk. And for her to just kind of step, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And she did really good. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Not like the wallflowers, not Jacob Dylan wallflowers.
No.
Like because
He
he
does-
actually does
Yeah,
sing.
He doesn't know.
That's probably some devil music or something.
The only way you're going to be able to say that is for him to know that he's related to Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy who can't sing.
Lord, I knew that was coming too.
But yeah, we were actually in the middle of worship. I kind of leaned over because I was on the soundboard running sound for everybody, and I leaned over in his ear, and I was like, "There's a lot of potential up on that stage right now. Like, it's crazy."
Yeah.
It's really good. So you have been doing
I have been,
things,
just
and
no
that's good.
vacations and anything like that.
You haven't been building a house or
No.
or rebranding a
Or
business.
no,
Okay,
nothing
so
like that.
but your work was just as important.
Oh, thanks.
So welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome
Yeah.
back.
I don't know that song.
So,
So what's up, Holly? What are we going to talk about?
well, I figured this season would be a good time to talk about some hot button issues.
Oh boy.
Because there's a lot of things going on in the world.
Yes, there is.
A lot of goings on.
A lot of conflict in Christianity with how to feel about certain things and how to talk about certain things and discuss certain things. We're in a election season, which we all know how that is. And so we can kind of even get into my first topic,
Which is?
what's the Bible tell us about voting? Because I'll be honest, and I might get a lot of haters after this, and my dad might.
Yeah, I'm going to be the first in line.
My dad might regret having me on the podcast.
Well, it might be your last one.
I am not a voter. I do not vote.
Big boo.
A lot of people have a lot of opinions about that. I have voted before. The last election I voted in was the John Kerry and was it Bush election?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I remember I went to the voting polls. I had a shirt on that said "Carrie is a nerd," and they made me turn it inside
Yes,
out.
you're not allowed to wear that.
And that was the last time I voted. And when I get asked,
So were you upset about you have to change your shirt, or were you upset?
No.
Okay.
I think the older I got, I just started to realize that there was just a lot of things that maybe weren't exactly what I thought they were. I am a conspiracy theorist, big time, and really wholeheartedly believe in. I don't know that they call themselves the Illuminati, but I do think there are powerful people and families in our country that run our country and determine what everything's going to be. So
So we've got to change the name of the podcast now to just saying conspiracy.
that is just me. I don't feel like my vote matters. And I know people are going to get upset with me for saying that. But
Well, there's a lot of people that feel that way.
I just feel like it's already I feel like right now there is someone or a group of people who already know who's going to win the election in November. Like it's done. It is
Great.
decided.
Now we're going to have the FBI in here, Secret Service. They're coming in. Well, I mean, I get that, and I do hear that from a lot of people. I hear that from a lot of Christian people. You know, the same thing that you just said that, you know, and I don't disagree that there probably is a level of bureaucracy that runs the country. I don't argue that. There probably is, and those are people that are not voted into office. They're just appointed, and they're there for the rest of their life, and they kind of, you know, turn the wheels. But that doesn't release me from my responsibility, what I feel like is a responsibility, you know, to make my vote known, to put it out there. I know that some people will say, well, you know, voting is not in the Bible. Well, that's really kind of it's a bad starting place, because there's a lot of things that are not in the Bible, right? I mean, what's the Bible say about what kind of car you should drive? You know, I mean, what's the Bible say?
What does it say?
It doesn't, right? There's no verse that commands you to own a home.
Thou shalt not drive a
Right.
Dodge Stratus.
Well, exactly.
I drive a Dodge Stratus.
Right. You shall not own your own home. There's nothing in the Bible about it. There's nothing
Right.
specific that commands what car you drive, or there's no clear command about, you know, even providing a comfortable home for your children and your family. There's nothing in the Bible. So I think starting at that point, saying, well, there's nothing the Bible says about voting, I think that's a bad start.
I think, and I'm going to be the devil's advocate in this conversation.
Well, what's new?
I feel like that reason that is the starting point is because a lot of times the starting point for the other side is it is your Christian obligation to vote.
Well, I think
so of course the rebuttal to that is, please show me where it says that is my Christian obligation.
If you go to the Bible, let's go Old Testament first. You know, there wasn't such a thing as democracy. There was theocracy, right? God's in charge. And even when Israel leaves Egypt, they end up in the Promised Land. Even in the initial time of the Promised Land, it was a theocracy. God wanted to be in charge. Mm-hmm. Then when the children of Israel, we want a king, everybody else got a king. Even then, they didn't vote for who the king was, right? The king was anointed.
Well, I didn't vote for you. Sorry.
Oh, Monty Python. The prophet went and anointed the king based on what he determined God wanted him to do. He anointed Saul. He went to David, so forth and so on. So even then, it wasn't a democracy. And then you move into the New Testament, it wasn't either, right? The Romans were there with their foot on the neck of the Israelites, and you know, Rome basically was the government, and they had their people. The people of God really didn't vote for who was in charge. But there were some things that were said that I think says that we have a responsibility as citizens to do certain things, okay, like pay taxes. You know, Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar. So we have, there you go. There's something that directly says, okay, as a citizen, I have responsibility to pay my taxes. I have a responsibility to pray for leaders, political leaders, right? Pray for those who are in charge. The Bible gives us some specific, and so if I take that to a next, in my mind, a next logical conclusion, if I'm going to pray for those leaders, why don't I have some kind of responsibility to vote for those leaders?
Yeah.
I'm going to pray for them, and no matter who it is, I don't care who's in the White House, we have a responsibility to pray for them. So we pray for them, we honor them, whoever the leaders are, because the Bible tells us that God, has the heart of the leader in his hand. And so we pray for that. So while there's not direct scripture that says, if you're a follower of Christ, you got to vote, there is principle there that says we do have a responsibility in living in this country as a Christian to express, our convictions. And I think it has shown over the years that we haven't done that the Christian community has not done that. And I know I can get some blowback on this, but, too often what we end up voting for is what's going to benefit us the most rather than what's going to benefit the kingdom the most. And because of that, I think our country we're on the precipice. I love using that word. It just makes me feel so smart. I think we're really on the precipice of something dramatic, some kind of a cosmic shift, in our country. And if you go back and look at history, and I'll be quiet and let you give your rebuttal.
Oh no, I don't have anything to say.
But if you look at history on republics, which is really what we are, we're a republic. They don't last as long as we've been around.
Yeah.
We are. The United States of America is the longest lasting republic in history. And so that makes you stop and think, well, how much longer, can we? And then if you take it take that to the next, I'm not an eschatological guy. I don't know about end time. I know, almost got messed up on that.
Big word there.
I don't understand a lot of end time things.
Yeah.
One of the things I think I understand is that when it comes to end time prophecy, I don't know if the United States is even mentioned in that. And so if that's the case, at some point we kind of cease to exist, right, as a country. And so I do think there's some cosmic shifts going on. I think there's some big changes that are on the horizon, and I think that I think that sometimes you reap what you sow, and I think that's what we see coming. All right, what you got now?
Well, I guess to go back to the taxes thing.
Are you saying taxes or Texas?
Taxes.
Okay.
Go back to that Texas
Come back
thing.
to Texas.
Everything's big.
I mean, you say that we have. What did you say?
We have responsibility to pay taxes,
We
to pray,
but it's
and
not.
express
It's
honor.
not a responsibility, right? That is we have to.
Well, it supposedly is a law. Again, I'm not a constitutionalist. I don't understand.
You
all
go
that.
to prison for
Right.
tax evasion and
supposedly,
all those
yes.
things. Yeah.
But
so
yet there's supposedly also some clauses in there that talk about
that you don't have to
taxation
pay.
without representation and so forth and so on.
Well, wait a minute. That's in a rap.
Is it really?
Taxation
I'm
without
cool now?
representation.
Wow.
It might be in
I'll throw down a beat
It
behind
might
that.
be in that rap with a little bill in front of the Congress building. That little
What's
cartoon.
the show?
I'm just a bill.
Was that Sesame Street?
No, that was that Conjunction Junction?
Yeah.
Conjunction,
That wa-
junction, or what's
that wasn't
your
Sesame Street?
function?
I can't remember.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to Google it.
We have a responsibility, according to
Yes.
to what Jesus said, to do certain things. Yes. Go ahead.
So, I watched a documentary,
Schoolhouse
Oh
Rock.
boy.
Schoolhouse Rock.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I watched a documentary called The Family. It's on Netflix, and it is about the fundamentalist threat to American democracy. And it talks about all of these people that are, and a lot of them are Christian people. So it's a little
I
frightening.
don't doubt that.
Like the guy, his name is Douglas Coe. I might be. If I get murdered, everyone, I just want you to know. Somebody else did it. But he's an evangelist, but he's the one who started the National Prayer Breakfast, right? And he's over a thing called the Fellowship Foundation. And they have these videos pretty much of every single president that has ever, not every single, like not going back to like Washington or anything, but like the past 20 years who has thanked this guy that nobody really knows who he is or what he does. But he's been, even Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. He's been somehow involved in their campaign in some form or fashion. And so it's like all these just like, it's just all, it's really crooked and crazy. And like you see like right now, COVID's like coming back with a vengeance for like, and we're in the middle of
A political season.
a political season. So you go back and look at every political season, something's happening. And I'm telling you, these big pharma companies, these big companies that own the banks, different things like that, like I truly believe that they pull all the strings. And so it's like,
I want to go on the record right now.
say I'm
saying
not your daughter.
She is my daughter, and I did raise her to inform herself. I think I do think that's a huge problem in the world today, is that people don't take the time to inform themselves. They just listen to whatever the media says, and if the media repeats it enough times, it becomes their truth.
The truth, yeah.
And that is infuriating, to
Right.
try to have a conversation with somebody that's just repeating bullet points.
Yeah.
Rather than this is what I have. I mean, I can sit here and tell you right now, and I'm not ashamed to say it. You know, the number one issue for me when it comes to political season, right to life. Mm-hmm. That's my number one issue, because that's a huge conviction for me.
And see, and so just on that,
Please don't lean away from the microphone while
sorry.
speaking.
I always feel like I breathe heavy in the microphone.
Well, you probably do.
Okay, so that's a big issue with me too, because and I've heard people, I mean, people have come at me, and I've got big shoulders, I can handle it, but they're like, what about abortion and what about this? There's not one Republican who runs completely anti-abortion.
Correct.
I mean, so to say that, it's like nobody runs completely anti-abortion.
I think there's some that
And that's a whole other topic.
well, it is, and I think there's some that have that conviction that they would be, but they also realize, I think in the political world, and I'm not in the political world, and even in, this is a huge rabbit trail. I mean, even in our denomination that we're connected to, I don't get involved with the politics. I hate
Right.
that. But I think that they realize that there is a certain point that they can get to and not try to push further. Like okay, let's say no abortion after so many weeks. I think God decides when there's life,
Yeah.
and God's the one that decides when there's not life. I don't think it's up to us to decide that, whether it's a baby or an elderly person or someone with a fatal terminal disease.
And see, that.
I know you have a different viewpoint on that.
I don't have a different viewpoint on it. I have a different viewpoint on end of life.
Who are you?
I'm someone who self-educate. What'd you say I did?
Oh yeah, inform yourself.
Inform myself. But that's another thing that I have been learning to inform myself on is abortion, where it started from and how it came into being. And like so many people are just, and I don't mean to say this about the Christian community, but they are ignorant in the true meaning of the word about how that even came about. Like it didn't even come about with somebody who was fighting for their child. It came about from a woman who was literally involved in it was more of a, what's the word? Almost like a Nazi type of mindset, Hitler type of mindset to get rid of poor, colored people, immigrants, and people who had mental handicaps.
Like genocide?
Yes, it was more about like population control. Yeah. Like that's literally where abortion came from. And now everybody's made it into women's rights.
And I do think that I actually had this conversation with my number one grandson today about a lot of issues that are political issues. And part of the problem is that it's the whole, once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't put it back in. Mm-hmm. I think that's what leads us to a lot of the things that we're dealing with. I believe God created them male and female, period. male and female. So to me, that's that.
It settles it, yeah.
But yet when you say, well, now we need to make provision for this or this or this, well, the toothpaste comes out of the tube, and the next thing you know, it's this downward spiral to now we got Olympic boxers, and I know that's another controversy. I have friends on social media that are dogging because Christians don't like that or people don't like, and they're saying the person is a girl. We don't know, but we continue to let the guard down enough to where it just becomes this downward spiral. And instead of now there being male and female, now what, according to American Medical Association, there's 64 genders. Come on. Yeah. And so am I going to find a politician that's going to be 100% anti-abortion, 100% marriage between a man and a woman?
So you're pretty much choosing the lesser of two evils.
No, I'm going to vote for a person, and I'm not saying a party.
Right.
I want to vote for a person that most reflects my conviction. And again, the number one thing for me, right to life. Number two, small government. I'm of the opinion that our founding fathers would just turn in their grave if they knew that the United States government is the largest employer in the country.
Yeah. That
was not the plan. It was to be a small government, and I think we should have a strong military. Those are my three biggies. Less right to life, small government, less taxes. Am I going to find all those three things 100% in a political platform? Probably not. But I still think I have a responsibility to stewardship my citizenship and do that by going to the ballot box and voting for those people that most reflect, what my convictions are. I mean, it's not even really, I'm not going to the ballot box to vote for a pastor. I'm going to the ballot box to vote for a president that's going to set things in motion, whether it's on the Supreme Court, whether it's in some of the legislation that's done, that would best represent my convictions. That's what I'm looking for, and I'm one person. I have one over your mom. she's stronger on the political thing than I am.
I know, and
she's putting stuff on her Facebook page.
Yeah,
now.
she's on to me all the time. Like the other day, we had a youth lock in, and we were talking about we got a 5-pound thing of ground beef. Right, we had a taco bar. We got a 5-pound thing of ground beef, and we got 2 family packs of chicken breast. Now, back in the day, those chicken breasts would have been 3 times the price of ground beef. But that ground beef, I think it was more than 5 pounds, probably 5 to 6, 7 pounds, something, was $46 just for the ground beef. Yeah. And Mom's like, I don't want to hear it. You don't vote. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
There you go.
I don't want to hear it. You can't complain about it.
Well, Tyler, and I don't want you to necessarily say anything, but I mean, where do you weigh in on
please
all
tell
this?
us who you're voting for.
Yeah. Give us the rundown.
I honestly don't have a lot to say. I am not a very political person. I do vote. There was a time in my life that I didn't.
2 to 1.
There was a time in my life that I didn't, and I think it was more laziness than anything. Like I was always working, and I'd have to get up earlier to go vote when I played music the night before, and I was up late. You know what I mean? Like it was just a time in my life where I just kind of, I don't want to say abandoned that responsibility, but I guess yeah, in a sense. But the one thing about the one thing that gets me is that I don't think anybody in their right mind would look at the options that we've had as candidates lately and say that they are the most qualified.
Sure,
that's what rubs me the wrong way. Is that I feel like there's too much money, that it's a money game. Whoever's got the most money, the more powerful backing is the one that's going to make it on the ballot. And that's the most frustrating part because it's not about the issues per se. I mean, maybe it is, but it's because somebody with an agenda is pushing that person that way. That's the most frustrating part is to look back at the history of our presidents. We've had a lot of great presidents. And we've had some that, were maybe not as good as we thought they would be.
Yeah.
But that's where I find myself is more frustrated, because it's like there's got to be somebody better on either side. You know what I mean? Somebody more qualified, somebody with the with their head screwed on a little tighter, and somebody who's
You feel like that we don't see those people, those better qualified people, because of the money that's involved. And,
absolutely.
I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. I know that it's, unfortunately, every political season seems to set another record for the amount of money that is spent and the amount of money that's raised. And for some reason, even when it comes to the news and those kind of things, that seems to be what they want to report. Well, this particular person raised this much money this month, and that person raised. And I want a Walmart greeter to be president. That a Walmart greeter that has to go home and pay their bills, and and live under the laws that are of the land. And I don't know. You're not going to see that, because a person that's a Walmart greeter is not going to have the financial backing to get there. But I still think that we have a responsibility as believers to stewardship the citizenship. That's kind of my buzz thing right now. Is I need to be a good steward of my time, my talent, my testimony, my treasure, all those things that are kingdom-minded things. But I also need to be a good steward of my citizenship.
Yeah.
And that is that I'm going to go to the voting booth, and I'm going to vote. And I don't think people that, well, I don't vote because I don't want to vote for the lesser of two evils, and I understand what they're saying, but I always go back to a story that we actually used in an Easter sermon years ago when we were in the old sanctuary. The old sanctuary. Oh man. Somebody will have to ask what that means. But I told the story of the guy whose name, the monk, he was a Christian monk named Telemachus. And in, I think it was 400 AD, he went to the gladiator fights in the Roman Colosseum, and he sees this going on, and he's totally opposed to it. And rather than just sit there and not do anything, he jumps down into the arena, and he 3 times yells out, "God forbid, God forbid." And the people stoned him to death because the people wanted that.
Yeah.
Of course, we know that Rome fell because of circus and bread. We entertain us and feed us, and we're good. We don't. And so the people wanted to continue to see all this violence and wicked. Well, Telemachus, he said, "Nope, I'm going to do something." He jumps out, he gets stoned to death, but then that brought an end to gladiator fights. The person that says, "Well, my vote don't count," I'm just one person. I always go back to that story. You basically have one guy that brought an end to gladiator fights.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to find that person that is going to represent necessarily my Pentecostal values, but I do want to find that person that's going to best reflect my convictions. And like I said, number one is the right to life and small government and strong military. Less taxes. That's the person or the platform that I'm probably going to follow. And it has turned into, unfortunately, I think too often we make it about us. Who can I vote for, or who should I vote for that will best benefit me? And we kind of forget about what's going to benefit the kingdom, what's going to benefit Christendom, what's going to better reflect my values in the world. And I don't disagree that one vote seems insignificant. I don't know very many presidential elections or any other elections that were decided on by one vote.
And technically, right, that doesn't go by votes.
Electoral college.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I love the way you've
See?
informed yourself.
I mean, I've been taught well. But and that's another thing. And I'll talk about my husband for a second, and maybe he won't get mad at me.
And maybe he will.
He was a voter, and then I convinced him not to be a voter.
Oh, my goodness.
But now he feels he has been truly convicted. Yeah. And now he's like, but what if it does matter?
Yeah.
He's like, what if it does? If it doesn't matter, you haven't lost anything. But what if it does matter? So I've considered it, but I'm still not quite there. But yeah, that's another one my issue. It doesn't. It's not. It's not. Every vote counts because it really doesn't. Right?
Well, I guess it's a technicality, right? Or
Is it though?
It's semantics. So you're voting for who's going to get your electoral votes as a state.
Right, but you have a popular vote, right?
Yes.
And then you have.
Yes.
And so, but they go by.
That's something that frustrates me
They don't go by the popular vote, right?
Well, I think that popular vote affects electoral votes because, what they'll do, and again, it kind of goes back to what Tyler said. You got to have the right people in your corner that can figure out. Well, if I can win this state, and this state, I'll
Right.
have enough electoral votes
To where the rest of the world doesn't matter.
And then the little podunk state, whatever, we don't need to worry about them.
Right.
So if you mean it in that vein, that you live in, we don't have anybody in our church that lives in North Dakota, do we?
I don't think
I don't
so.
think
Okay,
so.
if you're in North Dakota,
North Dakota.
where nobody lives, and that state has I don't even know. Let's say they have 12 electoral votes. Well, those 12 votes that's not where you're going to focus. You're going to focus on New York. You're going to focus on Florida, Ohio,
California.
Florida, the big states that have the big. So in that vein, yes, I think you're right. If I understand the voting process correctly, what the politicians go for, you keep hearing this thing, swing states. Swing states. That's what they're going for, is because that's where the big electoral vote. I think you ought to go back to just equal representation. Like senators, you have 2 senators from every state. Well, if a state, it's not even a state. If a nation, if we have 150 million people voting and someone gets the majority of those votes, I think that should be the next president, whoever that is. But the founding fathers felt like that this was going to, bring balance to the scales, which it really doesn't. And if we need to change that, then we need to vote for somebody that has that particular conviction to change the way the electoral college is run. Yeah. So I think that when a person informs themselves and doesn't just go by what the media says and what all the commercials are saying, just inform yourself, not even what your friends tell you. I mean, I got people in my life that I can't talk to them. I cannot talk to them about anything like this because all they do is just get mad at me, get upset with me because I don't see it the way they see it. Yeah. I think that's one of the greatest things that's missing in the world today is this thing you call civil discourse, where I can sit down and talk to you and maybe we don't agree, but we still eat a hamburger and drink a pop and leave friends.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah, but that
North
doesn't
Dakota
happen.
has 3.
Okay. I gave them 12. Look at that.
Yeah, they only have 3.
Yeah, so they don't focus on North Dakota.
Texas has 40.
Yeah.
See that? I just.
Well, that's based on the population.
I get it.
Because nobody lives in North Dakota.
Why can't we just count the votes? Why can't we just count the votes?
I'm not arguing. I agree with you there.
I agree with that too.
Whoever wins the but I guess
because at the end of the day, you're electing people who are going to vote on your behalf, but are they really? That's the question.
Well, that is the question. That is the question, and so I think. Just to go back and try to just kind of put a synopsis on that, there's nothing that directly tells us to vote. There's a lot of dynamics, though, in our modern life that there's not something specific in the Bible that tells us about it. But there are some precedents in there that we pay our taxes, we pray for our leaders, we give honor to our leaders. And if we're going to do that, then I think we should vote for those leaders.
Can I ask this presentation?
Well, I don't know.
Will you take me to get a hamburger after this? No.
No, not until you come over to my side.
So if God is in charge, right? Regardless.
Yes.
And it's my job, as I see it biblically, to obey the laws of the land.
Yes.
No matter what they are, as long as they don't come in contact,
right. Come in conflict with the Bible.
Conflict with the Bible, yes. So Why does it matter?
Okay, and that's a great question.
You know?
That's a great question. And I would answer your question with another
If
question.
what I'm going to do is going to be the same regardless.
I'm going to answer your question with a question.
You're not supposed to do
I
that.
know, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm the pastor. We all know that the world's not going to get better. We know
Correct.
biblically,
It's gonna-
prophecy,
yes.
it's going to
Right.
get worse.
Yes.
It's just going to continue. So, and we know the rapture of the church is going to take place sometime soon, where the believers of Christ are going to be caught out of here. So, do we just sit back and wait for that, or are we busy trying to expand the kingdom, trying to impact people's lives, trying to change people?
I feel like I'm.
Okay.
Yes.
But we know that it's not going to get any better. So
Correct.
there is a faction of people that would say, we just wait for Jesus to come back now.
Yes.
But I think we're supposed to occupy till the end.
Yes.
And I think that includes everything. I think that includes, continuing to evangelize, continue to missionize,
Yes.
and continue to vote.
See, you lost me at that last part, because that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm it's not going to change what I do. Reaching out to, the lost, being an example, sharing my beliefs with people, loving people, doing all those things that God's called me to do. I don't know how to say it besides the fact that, like, I just don't care. That's a horrible thing to say. I
Well,
know. But I don't care,
you're just
because
being real.
it's not going to make me change who I am. That whoever is in office, I'm going to pray for them. I'm going to trust that God has a plan, but I'm still going to do me. I'm still going to continue to do what I do. And so, I mean, people just get so here's what gets me. And I know that we got to wrap it up. But here's what gets me the worst is Christians, supposed Christians, Bible-believing people who are so ugly during this time and post horrible, unloving, unkind, unforgiving, dirty, worded, gross things, all in the name of politics. And it's like, where is Jesus in it? Like, where is God in it?
They need to go to Westboro Baptist Church.
I mean, it gets so ugly. Some of the posts on Facebook and the things people say, and then they'll be like, and God bless it. And I'm like, where there's no God, no God in that. Now, on the other extreme, I'm not like, Judas ate too, like that whole situation.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole nother podcast we can get into, but I'm not on that fence either. But I'm like, what are we doing that's both sides are acting the same?
The only thing I can do, though, is what I can do.
I know.
Right? I can't change anybody. All I can do is change me. I agree. I think not just in the political season, but it does seem to amp up in the political season that Christians don't act like Christians.
Yeah.
But all I can do is do me.
Yeah.
Right? All I can do is stay in my lane and do me.
Biblically, we're supposed to pray for the president,
Sure.
correct?
Yeah.
And so, in that, we should not be slandering
Absolutely.
and
I agree,
wishing him dead or
No.
ill. Like, when people
Yeah.
say that,
Yeah.
and I see them in our congregation, even it hurts my heart, because we should want to see him around the throne in heaven with us.
Right.
If we're supposed to have the heart of the Lord, right?
Yep.
Democrat, Republican, whatever.
Not only that, but that's somebody's father.
Absolutely.
That's somebody's grandfather. That's somebody's
Yeah.
brother. That's somebody's. You know what I mean? Like, that's a
And
person.
Well,
People
I read
calling
some-
him names and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's not a medical professional in the world that does not look at him and say something's going on.
Right.
Why be so harsh about
Right.
it?
And to be fair, politically fair here, the other side of that was,
absolutely.
people was
Same
like, too bad he missed.
Absolutely.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
I read something even today that says you never come in contact with another set of eyes that's not a child of God.
Absolutely.
Everybody. And so, and again, that's what happens when it becomes politically charged, and people seem to forget the Christian part of it. And I would say, don't just read the Bible, live the Bible.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, be a Christian. Before we wrap up, let me just, and again, I am not a political science guy. I did take a political science class at Marshall University, but
You didn't take a math class.
I did not. Well, I took one. It was the bonehead class to see if I could take, and I couldn't. So, the difference here, going back to your vote in the Electoral College, democracy is exactly that. The majority wins, period. But we are not a democracy. We get that word thrown in there a lot. We are a representative republic. And that is, we vote for people to represent us.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I think, if I understand it right, that's where the Electoral College kind of rolls into the scene. And those are things that, should they change? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know that. I don't have the bandwidth to try to figure that out. I do know this. I do feel like, and my conviction is, that as a follower of Christ, we have a responsibility to at least try and get our views and our convictions reflected in people that we vote for. And I do think that there's certain people that are going to take my convictions and completely ignore them. And I think there's some people that are going to take my convictions and do the best they can, maybe not 100%, but I'd rather take 75% of my conviction versus none of it. Yeah. And so I think that's kind of where I land. And I think that we do need to be good stewards of our citizenship.
And if you're listening to this podcast and you don't like me now, I just want you to know that I also don't think we landed on the moon. I think 9/11 was a hack. I don't think Hitler killed himself in the bunker. I think he escaped. And
oh my
there's
goodness!
All kinds. Tyler's looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm for real.
She watches too many of those documentaries.
I'm 100% as a conspiracy theorist. I am. So just pray for me. Just throw my name up in prayer. It's Holly Schneider. Just lift me up to the Lord.
You haven't mentioned the JFK assassination yet.
What do you think there? You were actually there. You were in Dallas.
There. I do think
not when it happened.
No. You were the second man on the
grassy knoll.
On the grassy knoll.
There were three.
I think it was a government job, 100%. I don't think it was the mafia. Everybody thinks it was the
maybe
mob.
we need to have a podcast on that, because I bet a lot of people would listen to that.
I'm sure.
They're probably not listening to this. They probably turned this off a long time ago.
Watch Hunting Hitler.
Oh, wait a minute! You're not getting sponsorship. You're not getting sponsorship from that.
No, I think the Titanic happened.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, have you seen that though? The conspiracy that it really wasn't the Titanic, that it was renamed another boat.
We're over time.
Have you not seen that? Yeah.
We're over time.
What about
Wrap it up.
that Goliath's head was underneath the cross on Golgotha? Have you heard that?
No.
That
was the mound?
Is that going to make? Let me ask you: is it going to make the difference between heaven and hell?
No.
Well, then I don't care.
I was just letting people know that I wasn't just crazy about voting. I'm crazy about a lot of
everything.
One other thing that irks me about, and sometimes makes me not want to vote, is that when you vote in the local election, you have to be registered. You have to pick one side or the other,
and you have to announce that.
And you have to vote. You can only vote for representatives from that party. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that either.
Yeah. Well, let's go out there and change it, fellas and gals. Right, Holly,
I don't know how to close this out.
You're going to have to close it out.
I feel like everyone's really mad at me
right
now.
I am.
Win them back. Win them back.
You've known I've been like this.
Well, but it hasn't been public like this before.
I'm going to have a group of followers on Sunday. They're going to wear like 10 hats, and they're going to be like, Holly, let's talk.
Area 51.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not. He's more into the alien thing.
Going.
I don't believe in it.
You watched that show?
I did watch it. Yeah, but
you don't think it's real?
No.
Wow. Just wow.
No ET phone home.
Stay tuned for this season for more hot button issues.
Because we're going to phone home.
Yes, we will talk about what's going on in the Middle East. We'll talk about some of the big issues that have been in social media lately, and how the church should respond to them, different things like that. So we would love for you to like, follow, share, and comment, and all those things. Make them nice. And we love you guys, and we'll see you next time on Just Saying.
Later.
See you.